Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sweet Talks podcast. It's Chantel, and welcome to our second lockdown edition.
Yep.
So we've got Riri, who's there, obviously, and Nakima, who's down there. All right, so today we're going to talk about to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. That is the question, right? So, basically, we've been told in the UK, or it's been suggested in the UK, that Black and ethnic minorities are supposed to take this vaccination first, as we are a high-risk group. I'm not sure why other high-risk groups aren't said to go first, but Black and ethnic minority groups are suggested to go first. So I don't want to take over anybody's points, so I'll come in with mine maybe last. But does anybody want to go first, and we can go
So I guess I'll start. I'm not gonna say much to the general. First of all, thank you for tuning in to Sweet Talk.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Hi, people in Israel. We have listeners in Israel recently.
Oh,
Hi, guys. Sorry. Thanks for joining.
Wow.
Hello, a wave to you if you're watching, and if not, if you're listening, then welcome, blessings. Thank you for listening to us. So just to make you aware, the UK is on lockdown number 3000. We're lockdown 2.0, basically. Second lockdown in the space of what, two couple of months, 2 months,
6
3
months.
months.
Oh wait, we ended in July.
Yeah, but what, 2 months?
3 months. 2 months, 3 months. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, for those in Israel that, or anybody else, anywhere outside of the UK that doesn't know that. So we're in lockdown again. Only essential workers outside. All of us are essential workers. And I think all of us are leaving the house. I know I'm leaving the house. I think everybody else is leaving the house at some point as well. So that's a little bit background for you. But so I don't know who the guy was, but some person decided that he wanted to go on the news, I guess, go on the news and say that he felt that people in Africa, I think, should be the ones to have the vaccine first. And I'm guessing that's trickled down over to the UK, and now they have suggested, according to what Chantal said and according to what they've said, that we should be the ones to have the vaccine first. Mm-hmm. I think it is absolutely very disrespectful. I will say two things. We may be high risk for whatever that means, but I guess there's something in there. I don't know how true it is, but there's something in there somewhere. However, we're not the only people that are high risk, so to speak. So I think it's highly disrespectful. It's rooted in racism, plain as the day is Thursday. And I feel that it shouldn't be necessarily a black thing. I feel like it shouldn't be black people should be tested first or whatever. I feel like it should be people. So those people that are vulnerable, whether you're older or whatever the case is, if you're going to do it off vulnerability, I think it should be other things outside of race. First, I think it's really cheeky that that's the first thing he says, and what I said off camera was that we're lab rats. We are, or that's the perception that we are lab rats, that we are guinea pigs to be tested on. We are pigs to be tested on. The same way you test your food and every other ointment and chemical is the same way. I feel like now you're doing this. And so almost like that time when they used to put us in cages and watch us dance and things like that. Yeah. For that effect, it's essentially, for me, is what you're doing again. You're trying to wrap us up, strap us down to whatever chair for you to put this vaccine on to see what could potentially happen, so it doesn't happen to Auntie Sarah. Nah, it doesn't work like that. And I feel like it's absolutely disrespectful. It's rooted in racism to kingdom come. And again, just to reiterate, I think it should be just people that are vulnerable, not necessarily race, or I don't know, find a different way. Find a different way to test it if you need to test it. But yeah, that's my 2 cents, I guess. Because I don't know.
James, Baba.
I agree with Brianna. I feel like it's I think it's systematic though. Like same like Rianne was saying, I don't think it's something new. If that makes sense, it's just a new situation that they can show us how much they value Black people within this country. I believe that it is only in the US, Europe, and maybe the UK. Sorry, yeah, the US and Europe, where Black people are more likely to be diagnosed or be affected by COVID. Whereas if we look globally in other countries that predominantly have Black people, the issues doesn't correlate to the same as here. It is a slap in the face. We keep getting them every other week, every other day. We've got them for years here. I would really encourage politicians to think about taking the vaccine themselves before giving it to anybody. I would definitely ask people of colour to consider taking it, consider not taking it, shall I say, particularly if you're considered high risk, because I just don't trust what's in them. I don't trust the ingredients. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not even just about the actual vaccination, it's about actually having trust for what's in the ingredients in the first place. And I would actually say again?
I don't trust.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is, I think given history, given especially the history of Black people and medical practice and medical advancement, yeah, I don't think it would be a thing that Black people do very quickly. And yeah, even though I was joking about off camera, I wasn't joking, but I was making a joke out of it that, okay, fine, then MPs need to probably take this vaccine first. We'll watch what happens and then we'll see. And it has to be from the same vaccine vials that you would give to us. But also, what I would say as well is that if we, again, for the same point, in terms of like the history, if we're looking at the history of like when we've had, like I said, Black people in history in the medical field, just you don't even have to look that far back, like things like the Tuskegee experiments, and that's probably one of the least. So they were told that they were vaccinating them and giving them syphilis and making bounds and bounds of people really ill, making them get and develop other diseases because they hadn't taken care of the syphilis. They'd made people, what do you call it, when you can't have kids, infertile because they had given them syphilis. Some people actually had psychotic issues, psychological issues because of the Tuskegee experiments. And that's just because they told them that they had a vaccine. And back to Rihanna's point as well, when she's saying that there was a French doctor who suggested pretty much at the beginning of this whole pandemic, by the time we've figured something out, let's go to Africa and trial it out. That is just beyond disgusting to kind of dehumanize another human, and it shows how far we have not come, unfortunately, as human beings, that you can actually look at another human being and say, okay, your life is not as valuable as mine. It's just, nah, I'm sorry. I
think we've come far, but I feel like the people that rule are the ones that are actually not doing the people justice, clearly. And that's been happening for hundreds of years.
My thing would be this though, that's a doctor who signed up with a Hippocratic oath. One of the main things being
to not do harm,
no harm. That is like the key, one of the key phrases that is in the Hippocratic Oath. I vow to do no harm. You have clearly said, you know what, sack all that. Let's try and get people over there that ain't got anything, or probably their lives aren't as valuable and will possibly do harm, because you don't know. You're just testing it out. You're not even giving them the chance to volunteer. You're just saying, let's take it over there. Why don't you try it in France first?
I know what you mean.
How inhumane.
There's a book called The Medical Apartheid or Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington, if anybody
just
wants to
thinking
read
about
up.
her as well. Yeah. Go on.
If
Go ahead.
anyone wants to think about read more into that topic of the history that Chantal was talking about.
Yeah.
Very, very, very powerful book. I think there's one called The Rabbit Proof Fence as well. Or is that's a documentary, so you can watch that. Rabbit Proof Fence, I believe. Anyway, don't quote me on that. I'll get back to you on that, guys. But yeah, that will show you the history. And I think it is the Tuskegee, but it has other experiments. And there's been thousands upon thousands across the world over hundreds of years. And the growth of European medical practice. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But
it's real out here. There's a war on us.
It was definitely I'm trying to remember who said it though. There was a quote it was actually from a doctor. I'm trying to remember who it was. And he said that the advancement of American and Eurocentric medicine was built on the backs of slaves. And that was literally because they had taken enslaved people, and once they died, they would literally dissect them, do whatever they're doing with them, try and look and see what's going on, do whatever they're doing. And even what is his quote? I don't know. Is it James Sims? The guy called Dr. James Sims. This was gynecology now. So he would take black women and literally just start cutting them open to see what would happen with their reproductive system. So understanding the difference between the uterus and the bladder, during and how it could tear during childbirth, was because he decided he was going to take a black woman and make her into different black women, make them into
many black women. He would. It's quite graphic, people. So if you don't want to hear, you may want to just mute. But he would take babies just born, drop them, and like get the hammer to their head and see how they survive or react to that. He would apparently he used a horse. To force the horse within the woman. I don't know if it was, anyway.
Wanted to see how much pain basically could be taken, and this again is still a misconception in modern day medicine, that black women can undertake more pain than white women, which is why more black women are dying in childbirth.
Especially the darker that you are.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
That's disgusting.
Definitely.
That's an important point, man.
Yeah.
Ooh. What has been done? It's I can feel my energy just
Yeah.
Say the name of the guy again for the people in the back.
It's James. I'm sure his name is James Sims, if I'm not mistaken. James. I want to say James Marion.
The founder of gynecology.
Yeah. And that is pretty much
what he did.
Carolina, but he just, oh God, he did some unthinkable things to black women just for the sake of saying that he could. He was, the pioneer.
It's James Marion Sims.
Yeah. So because they refer to him as the pioneer.
And the father of modern gynecology.
Modern gynecology, because he started to undertake knowing about different parts of the female reproductive system, but how he got there was horrific, absolutely horrific.
And he didn't have to get there that way either.
That was the thing. Some of the things he just did, like that part where you talk about the horse, at what point do you know if a woman can take a horse? Why would you need to know that? Where does that even come from?
It is so many different layers, and that's what is being called fathers of. If we look in the psychological world and what they call the fathers of the psychological world, and you realize what they were into, I'm just like, do you really want to be standing and representing and supporting
that particular thing?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It's mad.
But the thing is that if you, I'm sure if you bring it to people who are of those particular fields, I'm pretty sure they'll say, oh, they were people of their time, like, you know, they were people who were in response to how they saw people in their time. But it's unfortunately something that's still carrying on. Otherwise, you know, if you don't see a physical difference between black people and white people, or Asian people and white people, or any other ethnic minority within the western parts of Europe or America, why would you then have to get them to take a vaccination first? What would it matter?
Good point, babe. Good point. It's interesting you saying that, because there's a lot of people back in the 1960s were like, black people are pushing too much, too soon, too hard. Why do they want these rights? You know what I mean? And that was the norm for some people back then. So what is it about today that actually there are people that are still thinking in a, what's the word? Oh, goodness way. In a way where they still have that thought process, think that things are okay. What do you mean Black Lives Matter? What do you mean black women are 5 times more likely to die in childbirth? It's just the way it is. Do you know what I mean? Pushing too much, too hard, too quick. Like every 40, 30 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, it's the same cycle. I'm sick to the back teeth. And I saw a protest sign saying, this is the last generation you go and mess with. We're done.
We hope so. Definitely hope and pray so. But
I can see that. I was going to go to Patra then. One can see that this is the last generation, because I feel like there's a different shift energy. There's a difference this time. You know.
Well, I hope so. But I think if we're talking about groups that have underlying health conditions or have what do you call it, like prerequisite kind of things, I genuinely feel like some of the royal family should get it first. Like the Queen's 90, she's already like past. Like, one of the things is that you have to be over what, 60, something like that, as a thing that will catch. She's 90. Let her get it first, man. Make sure she live. Philip, give it to Philip. Let's give it to Charles. They're all over they are all over the age. In fact, didn't Charles have it? So Charles should be one of the first people to get it. Yeah, just to make sure he doesn't get it twice.
They would never risk the life of their dear precious royalty, but stick a blacker family. Oh yeah.
No. Let's
raise the whole of Africa.
No. But let's give it to them first. Listen, they are the ones. If we're talking about what they're saying it's for, they're saying that is because that you are having this particular thing, whatever that thing may be, that puts you at a disadvantage to get coronavirus. Okay, take it, not a problem. The Queen is of that disadvantage. She ain't black, but she's over a certain age. I don't know if she got type 2 diabetes or not. I'm not sure.
But that's what I'm saying. They would never do that. They've never.
Then my question would be why? Because then you
have value.
No. But then my thing is this though. But your reasoning doesn't match up.
Yeah,
because your reasoning is because you have certain prerequisites. Then cool, she does too. Hell, let me give it to Liz. All right, let me.
That's the politically correct answer. The real answer is that we just have less value. They don't care. Let's just go invade Africa or wherever is populated by black people because we can and because we want to. And you just better deal with it. Simple as. You're lucky that we even give you racial sensitivity courses in your workplace. You're lucky that you even get annual leave. You're lucky that you get. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it is.
You're getting paid now.
You're lucky, yeah. So just hold your corner.
Shouldn't even laugh, because it's actually it's disgustingly true. Unfortunately, it is hella disgustingly true.
You're lucky. So don't bother say no more.
Nah, man.
It is true.
I'm looking at all of these people that I'm thinking, why don't they get it first? I'll go behind them. If they go, I'll be facts. Do you like this? Liz, me, Philip, somebody else. That's so we know. That's all coming from the same batch. Yeah, they mixing up.
You know, it's interesting you saying that, man. That's an interesting thing. I'm sure there's different types of vaccinations out there. There's not just one type, is there?
Well, the one that's being pushed at the moment is by, I don't even know if I'm allowed to mention the company, but they've.
Don't.
I'm not going to. Begins with a P, but they are.
Another thing is, what's the side effects? Because we don't know what's in it. Like Nikki said, so we don't know what the side effects are. I don't know that, and I get that's why they want to test it on us so they can see them. But no, test it on your like you normally do, or your wrap like you normally do, like an actual wrap. You know what I mean? And find out it there.
But my thing is this, though, doctor, you should trust your medicine.
Yeah, put it on yourself.
Take it. Yeah. Take it.
Get your blood camera.
If you don't go back to that third arm, yeah, I'll consider it.
And you know what, as well, these side effects might not occur until 2-3 years later. 4 years later.
It may not even occur it might not occur in your generation. It might occur when you start having kids. Who knows?
That too.
Because
that's
even
right.
Adam?
It's all right, you can keep it.
Nah, because even with the Tuskegee experiments, that's when women started finding out something was wrong, when they couldn't have kids, or when stuff was going left. And I'm not saying that this particular vaccination is going to stop you from having children. I'm not suggesting that. But
it could.
Who knows?
The history of vaccinations, people, all we've got to do is look at the history of vaccinations, the true history of vaccinations, you know what I mean? The results is evident, the facts are evident. They're synthetic versions of the actual thing that's going to cure us. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the whole point. So vaccinations have always been supposed to be a weaker strain or a synthetic strain of the thing that causes you to be ill. But as far as I'm aware, and based on the last few SAGE reports I've read, this thing is mutating. So if it's mutating, and it's mutating pretty much like the flu vaccine is always out of date by the time they get a vaccine. Like every year, the flu vaccine is out of date. You're always getting injected with last year's flu rather than the one that's coming.
But the pharmaceutical companies are scratching, like literally rubbing their hands together.
I thought you was going to say something else, you know. But yeah, they are rubbing their hands together because they're making money, but I thought you was going to say something completely different.
Was it rude?
Segue.
Okay,
rude.
move on.
It's quite close, but yeah, it's like rude adjacent. But I think that, in fact, what kind of message do you feel like the average BAME person probably gets from that? So when they hear, oh, the government wants to vaccinate you, because I know why I think what I think, because I'm into history and I've seen how history has been. What do you think
the average person
might be thinking? Because
I think for the average person, like somebody like me who's not necessarily into the history like that, or whatever, I think, and well, you know what? I think it depends, because it depends on whether this average person knows their own identity and knows themselves and how they. Do you know what I mean? Like, then I think then they will see it on a deeper level. They will see it in the ways that we've already stated. But if they're not, and they're just living their day-to-day life, they might have a bit of questions, but they might be like, oh yeah, well, I guess because we are high risk and we are this, so it's not really a problem. It's just whatever. So I can imagine that's probably how their perception of it, or how they may view it. I guess the people who are a little bit knowledgeable about their history, their roots, they're probably thinking about it on the level that you guys have already stated. There's a deeper message here, a deeper intention here, like what are they really trying to do, what are they really trying to say, so and so. And the people that are like you, well, they're going to say everything that you guys already said, really, and think everything that you're going to say. And they're probably going to be those people that are going to be like, no, we're not having it. We're not doing it. We're not taking part in this vaccination at all, or anything like that. They're probably going to start protesting or whatever they need to do, rightly so, because it's disrespectful. It's out of order. And so yeah, test it on yourself and your cousins and all that, your lineage or whatever the word is, and see how it works out, and then test on your nasty dog, and then come back and say something to us, because like I said, I don't know a lot about it, but from like the symptoms that they say that people have had COVID, I haven't had it, and hopefully I don't get it. But I don't know why I would need a vaccine necessarily if it's the symptoms that they have already said. Like if it's the flu-like symptoms, don't get me wrong. We know that influenza kills everybody. Nobody, But for those people that make it out the other end, I feel like I'll be okay. I feel like I can, take my remedies that my nan would give me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'll be okay. Maybe that's ignorant. I don't know, but I feel like I'll be okay. So yeah.
Honestly, I don't think that's that ignorant, because the fact is that 95% of people survive. So of all people that have had it, so like when we're seeing like all these, how many cases have been happening, 95% of those will be fine. 5% of them have complications, and I think it's something like the ones that have complications, still 2% of them still survive. They might have extra like issues, but they're still
survive. Yeah, additional needs and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think if okay.
Is it a legal requirement, or they've just suggested it at this time?
It's not a legal requirement yet, but when they start bringing in the army to help them, I mean, I don't know how much voluntary.
Can they really? And this is for people who feel this way or asking this question as well. Can they really enforce that?
They semi have. It's not been the vaccination yet, to be fair. It's only been the testing, but they brought in the army in Liverpool, as far as I was aware, to try and help with testing and stuff.
I knew that much, yeah.
But even the health secretary the other day said, even as he was talking about the vaccination, he was saying yes, and we've got the army on standby to help the NHS. Now, I don't know.
How do you put army and NHS?
He put them in the same sentence. He did, and I listened very carefully to that. In fact, I listened to it 3 times. I actually rewound it so I could hear him say it again, and I was like, "Did he say that?" And then I rewound it, and I heard him say it a 3rd time. I was like, "He said so."
I want to be one of those people.
So yeah. That's the only way.
All right. So I try not to say much about this because it does annoy me a little bit, and I probably get in trouble a little bit, but enforcing anything on somebody, that's not lawful. Like, if that person hasn't caused harm, loss, or fraud to anybody, then no government should be imposing nothing. Like, that is not lawful. Like,
for now it's not. But those 3 things that you gave. No. Those 3 things that you gave. Watch how quick somebody argues that harm could be done to other people by you not taking that vaccine.
There's no could, should, hood, would. I ain't into the hood, would, should, nothing. It's about, sorry, not you, Shan, not sorry. Let me calm down.
That's it. You're preaching to the choir over here. However, I know for a fact that somebody, someplace is going to argue that harm factor right there. I know.
God bless them. Good luck to their argument. All right. I think we need to understand who we are, I feel like, in on this planet and on this earth. And we need to know kind of our lawful rights, not legal rights. Because legal is
subpar to lawful rights, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. The law of the land. Law stands for land, air, and water. Land, air, and water. we individually have dominion over land, air, and water. If the government are doing what they're doing or enforcing things onto us, it's illegal. It's unlawful.
Unlawful.
It might be legal in there, but it's unlawful. It's about human rights.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing that happened this year, they're trumping it over. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You're trying to save lives, but you're pushing laws that go over human rights.
Yeah, it's true.
Whew. Let me calm down because I could go in.
The thing is that you're actually correct, and a lot of people don't actually know the difference between what is lawful and what is legal. So even if you think about a wedding, it's the easiest one to use because of your autonomy. Something would be lawful because there's something that's inflicted upon you that's something that's legal. So when you're getting married to someone, you'll say, I take whoever to be my lawfully wedded whomever. Yeah, if you're doing the traditional stuff. Not legally, but my lawfully, but that's because you're talking about two people who are autonomous and are choosing to go into something that is lawfully binding as well as legally binding. The signing the paper is the legal bit, the oath is actually the lawful bit.
Exactly. We shouldn't have we shouldn't need the paper because of equal meetings of the minds that's happened. Do you know what I mean? There's been a binding contract.
Yeah.
The paper is it's trickery. It's to put it up into 2D. You know, put it into 2D as opposed. Let me stop.
Anywho, yes. So, but she digresses.
Another topic.
A whole other different thingy. But yes, I think that especially in this time, it's definitely essential for people to understand what is lawful and what is legal. If someone says to you, you need to take this, tell them to show you the law where you have to take this thing. So even if they say it's a legal requirement, okay, show me the law where this says I have to do this.
No act, because we're not acting it. It ain't no drama, no program or no show. Lawful. Lawful.
Yeah.
Law.
For real.
Statutes, no acts. Law. Sorry. Anyway.
Okay. That's all right.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys, then. So, so just as a word of warning, try to look at what's lawful rather than what's legal, or both, so you know your rights completely. And if you have any questions, comments, or whatever that you have to say about this particular topic, then please do let us know on our YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter, or whatever else you can find us on.